guys, and welcome back to our channel. If this is your first time coming back, this is your first time coming to the channel rather, uh, today is just a sort of prediction video where I react to my predictions from last time, and I talk about my predictions for the next Playday in LJL. As I just alluded to, and the title would have alluded to, today we're focusing on LJL games, which is the Japanese League of Legends Premier League in Japan. So yeah, let's get right into last week's predictions, no, last Playday's predictions. So we started off with Sengoku versus Rascal Jester, and the thing about this game is that Sengoku were like they are the strongest team in LJL right now. Rascal Jester, like you should expect them to be the fourth, fifth strongest team. Like they should be behind Sengoku, DFM definitely, and then like kind of off debate where everyone else is. But they should certainly be one of the stronger competitors coming into the league right now. But they had a slow start, and they're definitely improving. But this game against Sengoku showed they don't have the coordination to be a competitor with the strong teams right now, and they don't have the same macro understanding. Or like they have the understanding, but they don't have the same level of like I don't know. They can't execute that understanding as well as the top teams. And so they're just lacking that final bit of ability to make them equal. In case you might be wondering, so because I normally have all sorts of notes, um, the I didn't get to watch these games quite as in detail because I had other commitments, and this is going to be a bit of a thing you'll see with a bit more time. You'll definitely see it across some of the other games this week. Um, but I did get to watch the games, just it wasn't in detail and it certainly wasn't live. Um, yeah, I don't know why I'm messing with my hair because I don't really care what it looks like, but whatever. Yeah, that's all I have to say about Sengoku Rascal Jester. Hawks versus Axes. This was fairly predictable. Hawks are a far better coordinated team than Axes are. And Axes don't really have a lot going for them. They're still the seventh strongest team in the league. They're only really beating V3, and V3 are not a particularly hard team to beat. So yeah, I guess that's all there's really to say. Hawks definitely have far better coordination than Axes could ever wish to have. Yeah, I don't really know what more to say about that game. Burning Core versus V3. So this is an interesting one because you have Burning Core, who are like the gatekeepers between Axes and V3 and like the competitive teams, I guess. But Burning Core are still like sort of competing with the top teams. But they are definitely sort of a gateway between the two tiers. And it wasn't particularly close. Like V3 were in the game, but it didn't feel like I personally didn't feel like they could win the game, even when they were ahead at points. Yeah, it's sort of just predictable. And DFM CGA is pretty much what you'd expect when these two teams clash. DFM were just a little bit too strong for CGA to ever compete realistically in the game. So let's get on to Playday 9 and the predictions from that set of games. Um, so just for those that are unaware, these games are in the second rotation. Everyone has played each team at least once, and they played one other team twice. Rascal Jester versus Axes, I think this is fairly predictable. Axes are the seventh strongest team in the league, and they have good players like Megumin, but they are not particularly strong. Rascal Jester have been improving with every week that's passed. They're coming back into their position as one of the main competitors with DFM and Sengoku. So yeah, I think Rascal Jester should take this quite comfortably. For Axes to win, they need their individual carries to pop off and have a really strong game. I don't think that's particularly likely, and I think Rascal Jester should take this. Hawks versus Burning Core. I think Burning Core should definitely be very competitive in this game. I think this should be one of the closest. In fact, I think this should be the closest game of any game this week, this day, play day. But Burning Core shouldn't really have enough to beat the coordination of Hawks. I think Hawks are probably the third strongest team in the league right now, and I'd say Burning Core are probably the sixth strongest team in the league. So yeah, I think Hawks should win this fairly comfortably, but at the same time, it should be very competitive. I know that's sort of a contradiction, but like I think you can say Hawks should win this like 90% of the time, but at the same time, Burning Core should be competitive and should make it slightly difficult for the actual Hawks players, even though it will look like Hawks will always win. Crest versus Sengoku, I think as long as you don't have Honey play too far on the edges, Sengoku's AD carry, I think Sengoku win this 10 times out of 10. Um, and as I said, I think Honey is probably the only way in which Crest win. He does play on the edge a little bit too much for my liking, and I think it will get punished by better teams outside of the LJL, and it could even get punished by DFM when they play on July the 24th. But I think Sengoku should definitely have enough to carry themselves through this game. And then V3 DFM. See, I love to predict V3 to win this game. For those that don't know, V3 are 0 and 29 in 2022 with their new roster, which is basically their academy team, but they replaced Marble, who's on Hawks and living a brilliant life, with dress code. I really like their team. Like individually, I still maintain that their players are definitely good enough to make be on teams that can compete in Japan. Like I wouldn't be surprised if next season a couple of their players went to teams like Crest, Hawks, Rascal Justice, and Goku. But like as a collective, they're not coordinated enough. They're not individually skilled enough to win games, which is quite sad because it means that a lot of the players will be overlooked. Like Unica is probably one of the better junglers in the league, honestly. Like maybe he's probably worse than once, and he's probably worse than Steel. But I don't think yeah, I wouldn't say he's any worse than any of the other junglers in the league. So he's at least third strongest jungler. Um, so why should I? Again, is not a particularly weak top laner. Yugio, maybe he's a weak mid laner, but I think the mid lane is fairly stacked for the strength of the region as a whole. Dress Code is definitely a weaker AD carry, but again, I think their AD carry role is fairly stacked for a region of this strength. Maybe Dent, I don't even know how you say that, is weaker. It's about it, maybe. Hetai is like fairly average within the league. So like you can still see that they have bits and pieces going for them, but at the same time they're weak for their league. Uh I don't know, it's a bit weird. They're strong in the strong roles for Japan. Um and they're the only all Japanese team. But I don't know. I think their players could succeed, but I don't think their team's ever going to succeed. I would love to be able to predict DFM to lose. Is Mary? Yeah, I wonder why it says Marimo as their main player. I swear Yaharong's played in every game. Not Utapon, sorry, my bad. Utapon. Got the name the wrong way around. I swear I haven't seen Marimo play. Sorry, this now makes me really interested, and I'm going to leave this in without editing it out so that everyone else can see this, because I could have sworn Utapon has played in every single game. Yeah, I trust Wikipedia more. The only reason I use Wikipedia is because I don't know, I like the interface a bit more. But if I ever have a doubt, I use Wikipedia. So yeah, I think it's fair to say DFM probably a stronger team, probably should win this 10 times out of 10. I can't even think of a potential win condition for this V3 lineup. Maybe if they bring in some of their academy players. I don't know what their academy strength looks like. I haven't watched. I don't even know if their academy's even started yet. 2022 season. Uh, no, it hasn't even started yet. So yeah, I I have no clue if there's a way for D3 to win this, and I think that's probably a decent place to leave it. Um, as I said, I think it's fairly one-sided, and you can see I've been a pretty good prediction king so far. Again, I had another 4-0 game day. I've had two 4-0 game days in a row. I'm hoping I can do that again with these predictions. Uh, if I get it wrong, feel free to rub it in. That's about all I have to say. Peace out. I'll see you next time on my shitty channel.